Hey, Rich,
Hey, Michael.
and welcome everybody to BitPunch Radio episode 042. Tonight's episode, we are going to be discussing all of the Elden Ring. We have watched the Batman, which I guess we'll talk about. Maybe spoiler free. I don't really. I don't know.
That's gonna be hard.
Yeah,
There's gonna have to be
let's say
a point of no return.
let's save that for the end. Then how about that? So we'll
Okay.
spoil the Batman. And geez, what else we got on here? We got some books, we got some gaming news. Let's get into this. What's been going on with you, Rich?
Busy with work as always. It is in my industry when the weather starts to turn nice or what I would call above freezing,
Yeah.
things get pretty busy.
Are you
So
supposed to be getting some bad weather this weekend?
yeah, this weekend we're gonna have like the typical, north midwestern kind of
Last
freaking
fuck you.
snowstorm or something. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Like, oh, it's just gonna be 8 degrees tomorrow. It was 72 last weekend, and then this weekend's gonna be 8 degrees, a whole eight.
Yeah.
So yeah, fuck that. Um, oh, you mean your kids just got used to going outside? Now they have to stay in all weekend? Yep,
Right.
yep.
Yep.
That won't be a thing.
Oh, do you have
Yep.
allergies? Oh, yeah. Have
Well,
fun with
no, just
that.
like your kids are all like, cabin fever, like they're ready to go outside, man. It's like a wrestling match when they finally get to go outside and it's 50 degrees, and it's wet and
Dude,
they're ready to go outside and swing and shit. And
the Roblox isn't outside.
I'm still Roblox free. I
uh,
have no Roblox.
yeah.
I am asked almost weekly about Roblox,
Oh, wow. Okay.
and I just keep saying yeah, sure, someday. Um, so I don't know. So yeah, that's what I've been up to. Oh, we've played a lot of Elden
Let's
Ring.
get it. Let's just get into it. Let's just get
I've
into it.
not I've not played anything else other than Elden Ring.
For the past 2
Um,
weeks,
correct. Yeah,
no Cyberpunk.
none,
Mm.
zero. Yeah,
I've
I kind of
I've maybe put another 90 minutes into it.
yeah.
The whole
I'm at a
time.
I'm at that good point in Cyberpunk where I like got done with that kind of prelude,
Hmm.
that first heist, and now I'm kind of left to go do what I want. And so that's where I left it. And so I'm like, okay, I'm kind of at the perfect place to stop playing it now and do some
Sure.
Elden Ring. And that I'm kind of knowing that was going to take a while to get into, but then not fully understanding until I got into it how long that just might be.
Hmm.
Yeah, I'm fully into that thing.
Yeah.
Um, in a bad way, real
Yeah.
bad way. Boy.
Yeah. You know what? Actually, let me just go ahead and get the rest of my gaming stuff out of the way.
Okay.
I've been playing a ton of Stardew Valley with my wife. I've played a little Cyberpunk. No, I did not play it. I watched my son play through the Kirby and the Forgotten Land, I think it's called. It's the new
That's
Kirby game
been
that comes out in a couple weeks. So they've got a demo out,
Oh, okay, okay.
and that looks fun for him. I I think I was a little interested. It was like, oh, are they doing this? Are they doing like the are they doing the Odyssey thing? And it's not that.
Oh,
It's not that.
uh,
No, it's more
mm,
containerized. Um, it still seems neat for a Kirby game, but I'm not the biggest Kirby fan, even though I've got Kirby on my back. Like I have nostalgia for Kirby. But the games lately have just been the opposite of Elden Ring. They're just pretty easy going, laid back, and it's great for him. I'll watch him play it. I might co-op with him, but I don't see me investing a ton of time into it.
really? I thought you were gonna be deep into that.
I thought so too, but that demo is not really doing it for me. Uh,
Okay.
but yeah, so Stardew, 30 hours into Elden Ring is where I'm at.
Boy, I don't know where I'm at. I think I'm sitting at like 20, 25. I'm a
Okay.
little behind you, I think, in both level and time. Um, yeah, I
How
don't even
far
know
are
where
you?
to
How
start.
far are you? Let's do that.
So I've beaten uh both of the bosses there in Stormvale. So that's
Okay.
we talked about it a little bit last podcast. Um,
No.
I think we had just started
No,
playing it, didn't we?
no. It came out like the day our podcast published,
That's
right? How long?
correct.
Hold on. When
That's
did this come
correct.
out?
Yeah,
Have I
no, it
really
did.
played
Yeah.
30 hours of this game in the past 2 weeks?
Yes. Yes. You're right. I
Fuck.
was thinking about the stream we did on Sunday because I knew we talked about it. Yeah.
February 25th. Yeah. Yep.
Yep.
So
Yep.
we have not talked about this game at all on the
Okay.
podcast.
Yeah. So, um, this game's kind of gotten really good reviews. I've never played a From game,
Same.
so a lot of what I'm going to say is going to be me um, kind of comparing it to other things that I've played,
Yeah.
and not saying that those things did it first or did it better or whatever. Just sort of what it's reminding me of, and right now, kind of where I am, 25 hours in, kind of level 40ish. Um, the combat is kind of the I think the combat and the exploration are the two main things about Elden Ring that kind of draw people to that game, and kind of keep you there. And those two things really really remind me of The Witcher mixed with some like Skyrim in there, because the combat is very similar to The Witcher 3, where
Mm-hmm.
you have these different like light heavy attacks, and then you end up getting like these skills that you can have Geralt do. You redo your health by drinking this flask, which is literally I think down on the D-pad, um, and you only have so many of those, and there are enemies that will fucking f you up in The Witcher.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not to the level of
No.
Elden Ring, but there are some really tough boss battles
Yeah.
in The Witcher 3 if you play on the higher get difficulties. Um, that is what it's reminding me of, and I think that's why I'm liking it quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Um, there are some things about Elden Ring that are not great. Um, the camera is pretty bad.
Mm-hmm.
The lock-on system is very,
It messes with me.
very, very weird. There are times, especially with bigger enemies, like some of the dragons and some of the like way huge, much larger
What it wants to
scale
focus
enemies.
on.
It wants to like focus on like their feet, because that's what you
Right.
can attack. But then you're like running around in circles, on your horse around them, trying to dodge attacks. And a lot of times the lock on will like switch to like a fox that just happened to run by, like,
Yeah.
and it's just like, what do you like? Here I am, like in it, like,
You
there's
can't make a
not any room
mistake.
for error.
Right.
Yeah, there's
No.
no room for error, and I'm now tracking this fox that's running across the battlefield here. So it's not a perfect game by any means.
Yeah.
The story is very like all over the place. Like it is
I'm.
not going out of its way to try to tell you this story at all. Um, and what's kind of funny is people are saying that they people that like these games are saying that it is more than the other games, and I'm like, well, I don't even know like what the story must be in those. Um, but I'm enjoying it. I kind of got through the first castle, Stormvale, beat Margit, the
Mm-hmm.
Fell Omen, and then beat Godric the Grafted, the main boss. I snuck through a lot of that castle.
Mm-hmm.
There was parts I just straight up noped right by. Actually, there's a huge giant and two guards right in front of Godric, his door to like his boss fight, and I just ran right by him. Um, just like, nope, I'll just come back and deal with you later. And then kind of stumbled into that boss fight. I think
I did
sort of
too.
similar to you.
Yeah.
Um, wasn't I was kind of not expecting it to be there.
No.
And beat him on like my second or third try, I think. No, fourth try. Fourth try, I beat him. Took a lot longer to beat Margit, which was
Oh
the
yeah.
earlier boss. But once so you're kind of playing. I think the thing that kind of overwhelmed me and kind of made me go, oh, was the beginning of that game, it, it kind of throws you right out in the open world, like very, very early. And it's like, just, you need to go to that castle. And then immediately the game does some pretty smart stuff. Right there as you exit that cave that you're in, there's that golden knight on the horse, and you walk over to that guy and he is just going to wipe the floor with you in one hit.
It's pretty
And
exhilarating.
and that is the game telling you, yeah, you're not ready yet. And this
Right.
is the first thing you see when you exit this, when you start this game. It's kind of establishing the rules of, you just need to be away from this guy, because you're just not going to be ready to deal with him. But you kind of start off in like this kind of pretty big map. You've got what is Limgrave, and then like West Limgrave, and then Khalid, which is this crazy freaking area. And then there's like a little bit of area to the south that's got like a little peninsula, and then like the castle is kind of the northwestern end of this map. And when you beat Godric and you kind of make your way through the castle, you come out on this kind of big cliff and realize, oh, I've been playing this entire game up to this point on 20% of the map. There's a whole other section that's the other 80% of this map,
Right.
that I didn't know existed until right now, after I got, that was probably an hour 25, something like that, maybe 30-ish. And it's like, oh my God, this game is so big.
Yeah.
There's all these things that I got to go do. And so immediately, like, I had kind of, you and I had been kind of talking almost every day and sending stuff back and forth. And we've both been sending stuff from like the Elden Ring wiki and stuff. And I'd seen a map broken down by level, like the whole map broken down by level, of like, all right, this is kind of the recommended level to be in this area.
It's very
so I
helpful.
actually went back. Very helpful. I kind of turned around and went backwards.
Yeah,
at
I
that
did
point.
too. That map made me realize that there's a big southern section of the map. I completely skipped that.
Yep.
And
so I went back and I turned around. I went back and I'm just going to clear everything before this castle. And I'm like, how do I do that? I just don't want to. I'm having fun exploring, but like, there's no like icons on the map until you discover something. There's no like in Skyrim, when you're walking, on your compass at the top of the screen, it's kind of showing you stuff like faded, like, oh, there's something over that direction.
Sure.
It'll show like question marks, like, go that way. This isn't really doing that all that much. So I got online and found an interactive map that just has all the things on it, like all of them, like full on Assassin's Creed style or Far Cry style, that you can kind of filter on and off. It's like, I'm just going to turn this section of this map on and just go do all the dungeons. And I'm going to just turn this into like a little bit of a checklist game for a minute. And once I did that, I was doing like multiple things happened. I was finding more stuff. I was kind of engaged in the wiki, like understanding like the way things worked a little bit better, especially with some of the weapons and like the abilities the weapons have. I was just clearing these dungeons just much faster because I was just finding them faster. I wasn't just getting distracted and like, bumping up against this certain thing that I really didn't need to be, at that point, because I was just running around. I run into like, 3 fucking bears or something.
Yeah, it's almost like for the people
I gotta deal with that now.
It's almost like for the people that have the time to just stumble into shit. But it's like, we don't really, like.
Yeah,
I don't want to spend 100 hours in this world. I don't.
And that was something. Yeah, and that was something that I had talked to you about kind of after my first 10 hours of it. Is the interesting thing about this game is it starts out, and very early on in the game, like in the first hour or so, you're kind of presented with this first like camp of knights. There's like 10 knights in this little camp, and you can clear them out. And I went through the first time and cleared them all out, and kind of snuck through there and fought the little boss guy at the end, and was like, all right, cool. I'm gonna go back to that site of grace and rest and level up. And then it's like, well, shit, they're all back. Like they all respawn every time you. And I'm like, well, fuck. There was like no sense of accomplishment or like no sense of clearing anything. And it was like, well, I guess I'm just gonna do this a whole bunch of times. And I just did it like 10 times and just kept kind of grinding it a little bit, kind of getting used to the combat and stuff. And so I was kind of struggling with that a little bit. Like I cleared those first 2 caves you kind of come out to, um, but like it doesn't like cross them off on the map or do anything like that. It's just like, yep,
It does
you
give
did
you the
you
ability,
know you did that. The
right?
game doesn't know you did that.
It does give you the ability to drop little emblems on the map.
Yes, which is nice.
Yeah, and I do utilize that, but
I do
uh
also.
not to the level that I should. Like I should
Right.
use it
Yeah.
more, but I tend to do what you're doing, and I'm just kind of relying more on the wiki.
Yeah.
Like I
Yeah.
really just appreciate whoever's putting that together. Like, thank you so much because that helps
Yeah.
a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, I basically the way that I'm using it now is not really as a guide, but more of okay, I'm gonna use the interactive map to go find this dungeon. I'm gonna go find it. I'm gonna run through it, beat the boss, and then once I beat the boss, I'm gonna pull the wiki up and go, okay, what did I miss in here?
Mm-hmm.
Like, was there any items that I missed that I
Or
need
do
to
I
go
care
back
about
and
the
get,
items?
or do I care about them at all? Yeah,
Right.
or like, do I want to fuck with it or not? And sometimes it's yes, sometimes it's no. And then the nice thing about it is if I go find the item, it's the, shivering staff of, Gandalf or whatever the fuck it
Mm-hmm.
is. It's like I don't know what the hell this thing does. I pull it up and it's got all these letters and numbers and pluses
Yeah.
and minuses and none of that crap makes any sense. And so all the all the wiki is hyperlinked, so you just click on it. It's like, oh, here's what this does. It's like,
And
oh, well,
I think
cool.
you can sell that stuff off, but I'm so paranoid about selling
Mm-hmm.
anything right now.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I haven't
Yep.
engaged with sell, but I know you can get some good runes for stuff that you don't want. But
Yeah.
mm,
Yeah.
I'm hoarding
Yeah, like
everything right now.
we played some co-op. The co-op is strange. It seems like a missed opportunity,
Mm-hmm.
honestly. Um, you kind of have to both be in the same place in the map. Um, Once you're together, you can't rest at sites of grace. I also found out that the nobody other than the host can like activate sites of grace. So if
Mm.
we're running a new area for both of us, you won't activate any of those like in your
Oh,
world.
gotcha. Okay.
Um, and it
It
seemed like
almost
a lot of
reminds
the
me a little bit of Journey. Journey
mm,
had that weird co-op
yeah, yeah,
where
yeah,
it was just
yeah,
like that one you couldn't choose. It would just kind of drop people in and out of the world. Like this
yep,
one, we had to put like a password on.
yep,
It was really strange. So we have.
yeah, and like you came in like when you came into my game, you came in with half your flasks,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
and it did the same thing when I came in. So it's kind of like limiting you,
Right.
um, and then even limiting me coming into your world, which was you were farther ahead than I
Right.
was. It seems like a seemed unnecessary to me.
Right.
I
Just
don't know.
yeah. Like why limit it? Why not
Right.
just make it a big open world? Like let me and Rich run around in it.
Well, especially when you see these TikToks of these guys that are like one-shotting bosses with like the
This
crazy
crazy magic. Yeah.
whatever magic spell, and it's like, well, this game is there's already ways to like become overpowered in this game. Like just make it normal
Right.
co-op. Like who cares?
So I
So
stumbled into a video where this guy is farming runes, and it's like it's this weird thing where they're shooting at this thing off of a cliff,
mm-hmm.
and the thing is running off
The
the
bird,
cliff.
yep, runs off a cliff.
And
Yep,
so
letting bounce the rune.
I actually went through and did all the stuff to do that, and I went to the bird and I did it, and I was like, huh, and then I did it again, and I did it 3 times, and I leveled up, and I said, you know what? I could sit here and continue to do this because it took me 3 minutes and I
Yeah,
leveled up and break the game, or I could
yeah,
just go enjoy the game. And I said, nah,
yeah.
fuck this. I'm just going to go play the game. So I burned a level off that chicken bird thing, whatever.
Yep.
But then I decided, like, no, I'm having way too much fun with this game. Like, I'll just get there. So I noped right out of there. But,
Yep. Yep.
um,
Like figuring out all the like left trigger skills. I started going through all my weapons and seeing what all their skills were.
mhm.
I've got this crazy claymore that when I pull the left trigger and do a heavy attack, my dude will do a front flip and like a
Mm.
downward strike, which was fucking cool as
Mhm.
shit. Like I don't know. There's just a lot that game doesn't tell you. Like when you were trying to figure out how to upgrade the summons, And I was like, oh, you got to go talk to these 3 people 4 times, and then
Right.
it just triggers it like out of nowhere
Right.
for reasons, I guess. I
And
don't
I don't
know.
want to just stumble into that. Like
Right.
I don't have the
Right.
patience for it. I don't have
I would
I
have never. Yeah, I would have never
I mean
stumbled
I
into it.
you know how many strategy guides I had? I had stacks
Oh
of
yeah, dude,
strategy
this would
guides,
be
you
a
know?
prima purchase fucking day one, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, give me that shit. The GameStop, just give it here.
Um so I am through the place that I was trying to get us to, but I couldn't make it up the stairs that I kept dying. Um
To the Burger Kings.
yes, I'm there and I'm at Lady Rennerin, I think. I'm there. So I'm at the
Mm.
second boss.
Oh wow. Okay.
And there's a little puzzle to her. So I won't spoil it, but I got her health down to about 60% and
Okay.
she killed me. Um I have a crazy curved sword now. Um I have Luthen, I think that's how you say his name, the Headless. He is my summon. He's pretty strong. I'm at level 60, I think. Level 60.
Holy cow, level
Um
60.
and the Burger King guys, I've got their helmet. So I've I've been using
You
that.
are the Burger King?
Yeah, I am the Burger King. I did go back to that area and grind a little bit, fighting those one guys that gives you like 1,000 runes apiece.
Yeah.
Because once I equipped that big sword, I went heavy again, and I'm like, nope, I
So,
can't.
did you do the quest for the guy from the round table hold that teleports you into that building that's behind those things? The Bestial Sanctum?
Nope.
Oh boy. Yeah.
He
You need to go
teleports
back
you.
to the. Yeah, you go. You know that teleporter you told me to go to that would take you to Khaled?
Yeah.
That takes you right to that area.
Right.
Um, it'll it teleports you to that Bestial Sanctum, that building with that big dude out in front, and then there's all those
Oh.
little guys that you're
Okay.
farming.
Yeah.
Um, there's there's a character in that building, the Bestial Sanctum, that you'll end up interacting with.
How'd you get into the building?
So one of
Because
the
like that
guys that's
guy,
sitting at
that
one of the
massive
guys.
guy, he beat my ass.
Oh yeah,
So
yeah, 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 yeah. One of the guys in the roundtable hold told me that I needed to go talk to this thing in the Bestial Sanctum, that building, and he told me to go through. He told me where that teleporter was. He's like, "Go here, and it'll just take you there." I'm like, "All right." So I went there, and it took me into that building. I'm pretty sure.
hmm.
And then if you
Oh
at the end
wait,
of that hall in
wait.
that
Is
building,
he marks
yeah,
it on your map?
yeah.
Yeah, I just haven't went and done that yet.
Oh, okay, yeah, yeah, yeah. You need to go in there and talk to that guy because
Okay.
you give him things, and I think if you give him enough things, some shit happens.
There's a
Yeah,
lot of that. There's a lot of
yeah,
like go
yeah.
do this little fetch quest thing and
Hmm.
I understand why people are saying you should take notes. I mean, I'm using a wiki which is kind of helping, but I think it makes sense, especially if you were reviewing the game, like you would definitely want to take notes of this because
Right.
there's nothing you
Yeah.
don't have a journal or anything. It's just like go here and do this, and if you forget, because it's very easy to forget things in this game because you're just going to wander off and do whatever.
You know, one of the
Um
strangest things, it doesn't tell you the name of the person you're talking to.
right. Like
You
everyone's
start
just
a
a warden, or
conversation.
not a warden, but a maiden, or
No, it just doesn't say anything. Like when you talk to when you're trying to talk to Rodrika and the blacksmith to do that little quest for the
mm-hmm.
summons, he calls her Rodrika. I had no idea that was her name. Went back and talked to her and was like, "Oh, this must be Rodrika." Like it doesn't put their name like
Right,
on the screen in the dialogue box.
right.
I have no idea what any of their names are.
Yeah, I just
Yeah,
I think one of
it's
the
a weird
things
thing.
I had to like get this bloody finger, and I had to go invade 3 people's worlds, go talk to this other guy, and then take it to the a maiden for a bloody rag. It was just this whole weird quest.
Gross.
None of that really all right. None of it really made sense. But it gave me that ability to then go farm at that one location. It's like this weird quest that you have to do. Um, yeah, the story is. I'm not following a story at all. I don't know what's going on. I just know that everything's fucking weird in this world, and everything needs to die. You can even kill NPCs, which is
Yep.
crazy. And there are 5 main bad people, and you got to take them down, and you're gonna
Yep.
grind your ass off to do it. I am a vagabond, I guess. My stats are kind of split out. I wanted to use Luthen the Headless, so I had to grind out my intelligence, and then one of the swords I want to use requires a 40 strength, which is insane. I'm way far away from that.
Whoa.
I'd have to do another 12 levels just to get that, but I don't feel like I'm leveling up fast enough. I think I can, just like with the first major boss that you fight. I feel like you just have to keep throwing yourself at it and figure out the pattern. Like Renarin, I think that's how you say her name. I think I could probably figure her out. Like, don't level up, just keep throwing myself at it and really figure out the pattern. But she does something that is different each time you fight her, seems like, which it makes it a little hard. I've been fighting this magma worm that's in Khalid. I have fought that thing probably a dozen times, and I get so close, and then I'm just like, I can't do it. But I really am liking this game. I have my issues with it that you talked about earlier. I get stuck in geometry. I hate when the camera takes over for you a little bit,
Yep.
and you end up feeling like you're stuck. Like that wasn't my fault. I hate that.
Right.
I hate it's like because you have to be so precise in this game, and when there's a fault of like the camera, or like I rolled towards some geometry and the camera like moved around it just to make sure that, but it's like the direction I was going changes a little bit, and it's like that's anything can one shot you.
I think the thing that annoys me the most is the fall damage.
Yeah.
The fall damage, especially when you're on the horse, it is like okay, you can fall 100 feet and not take damage. But if you fall 101 feet, you are dead.
Right.
There is like no buffer.
Right. And what
And
is
like
the
this
buffer?
game has a lot of verticality where you were like trying to go down, and it has these little steps.
There's
like
platforming sections in it.
There's platforming, yeah, and then that horse control sucks. It just wants to like move around all the time, and like it's not great.
Yeah.
It's not Yoshi, that's for damn sure.
Nope.
So I've lost more runes to falling to death than anything.
What's the most amount of runes you lost at a given time?
Probably like 9,000-10,000.
I'd say mine's probably about 7. I think I lost 7. On my way to go get them, I got killed, and I was just like, man, that hurts. Because that's a level, man. Gaining a level in this game really means something.
Yep. Oh yeah.
It's really pretty. I love the world. I love getting lost in it. I'm really liking the combat. I'm hearing people say that they really like this game, but they still prefer Sekiro, and it makes me want to go back and play that. I don't have interest in playing Dark Souls. I think what I like about Elden Ring is the combat, but also the exploration. And I know I'm complaining but I don't want to get lost in a world. I like the option of choice, being able to, if I'm stuck in this situation, I can go out and do things. Where
I don't think Sekiro's that way. I think Sekiro's pretty linear.
I know, but I think it's. I think they say it's like it's like one of the best of those, which is why, and it's one of the newer ones, which is why I want to go explore that world. But the thing about Dark Souls, Demon Souls, I don't think that's interesting to me, because it's like it's the task in front of you. If you can't figure that out, That's the game. Like you can't
Yeah,
then go left or go right or
right.
go
Or
check
just
out.
run past it. Yeah,
No,
on the
you
horse.
just don't. You
Yeah,
just don't have that option. So I
right.
think like they made a game that I'm definitely interested in. Um, there will definitely be an Elden Ring 2. Holy shit, this game is selling like crazy. It's taken over like Red Dead Redemption 2 took over. When that game came out, like, it was like
Hmm.
anything everyone all they wanted to talk about. It was all social media, and that's how this game is now. And god damn, I feel so bad for Horizon cuz fuck, they're just going right through it again where people are like,
And people were like, this game's okay, but it takes 10 hours to get to the open world,
right,
and then then a thing happens, but it's kind of the same game still
right. Yeah.
as the last game.
That's what I'm hearing
You know,
too. We don't have a
kind of.
PlayStation, so we
Yeah.
we we won't be able to experience it until they bring it out on PC or we get a PlayStation. But what I'm hearing and reading and seeing like like Discord and forum posts and people are just like it's just more of that. It's more of that game and that
Yeah.
where I liked the first one. I don't need another 60 hours of it.
No,
And
no,
sure, it's
no, no.
gorgeous. Elden
Yeah.
Ring's not the prettiest looking game. It kind of looks muddy in spots. But it's interesting, and I find the world itself, not even the characters. I don't care about the characters. It's just that world and the monsters you're fighting and stuff is just really really cool. Um, hell, I'm gonna keep playing it. Like it's kind of
Yeah.
it's kind of all I've been thinking about. Um, I mean, shit. When's the last time? I was gonna say, when's the last time you took a day off work to play a
Yeah.
game?
Not well.
Mine was Cyberpunk.
Mine was Cyberpunk. Yeah. Whoops. Should have waited. Should have waited about 2 years.
No.
Whatever it's been. Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Unfortunately.
but yes, oh man, I'm really digging it. I would say it's probably my favorite game I've played this year. Um,
Mm, yeah. I technically played Resident Evil, but
that's true.
that's definitely my favorite game this
Yeah.
year. But
Well, I've played. What have I played?
there's still time for the Duke to show up in Elden Ring.
The Duke. Yeah. Um. Yeah, I've played Arceus. What have I completed? Arceus and Nobody Saves the World, and I've loved both of those games. So, um, yeah. Anything else? What starting class did you go with?
So I picked Confessor, which is kind of a hybrid, like sword and shield, magic user, like light magic user class. So I can kind of heal myself and kind of do some sneaky stuff with like my starting incantations.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that,
Do you
yeah,
have a
that's
lot of
kind of.
stats and faith?
I've put a little bit. Yeah, I'm gonna start doing more because I want to explore. I did buy an incantation from the spell guy.
Mm.
Um, so I want to try some of that stuff. That's kind of my next big dilemma is where to what
Right.
3 to 4 stats do I min max?
So I've
Yeah.
heard a piece of advice that I seen somebody say is look at like the legendary weapons and see
Mm,
what their stats are. Because
yeah.
ultimately, if you're wanting to fight with swords or staves or halberds, like look at like one of the best one of those and see what it requires, and just start going towards that.
I did have a friend tell me that I think once you beat the boss you're on, you get the ability to respec.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but it's limited. Like you have to have an item to do it, and he wasn't sure like how many of those
I
items are
think
in
it's
the
like a
world.
sacred tier or something like that.
No, that's the one that gives you more HP when you drink your flask. Yeah,
Oh, that's right. Okay, yeah.
yeah,
But it's something like that, and
right,
there's only a few in the world, so it's limited with the amount of times that you can do it.
right.
I've thought a couple times, like seeing all the crazy magic of starting a character over. I'm too deep now, but if I were to play the game again, which maybe I will, like in a year or two, I don't know, I would probably go the complete opposite and do
Mm,
like a complete spellcaster. The magic looked really weak in the beginning, but man, some of the stuff that they build up to looks pretty badass.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I need to
Yeah.
get through. I'm blanking on the name of the castle I'm in, but it's in the swampy area.
Right. The Academy?
Yeah, the academy. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So I've like 100% everything through there. I just got to get through the boss. Um, man, she's terrible. Okay, that is Elden Ring. Um, what else is going on with you?
So I'm still reading the Brandon Sanderson book 2 of the Skyward series,
Mm-hmm.
Cytoverse, whatever it
Yeah,
is.
Cytonic.
Yeah, I'm on Starsight, which is the second book. I'm 70% of the way through that.
Mm.
I think I got like 100 pages to go. I'm still really enjoying that book. It's dragging a little bit
This
here in
that
like
one
the
does, yeah,
third act a little bit.
yeah,
But I think it's right now. I think it's getting ready to kind of
yeah.
pick up. So I'm excited to see where that goes. Still really enjoying that book. Enjoying the direction that it's going.
She spends a
Um,
little too long in that area.
a little bit,
Yeah.
yeah. It's kind of doing some world building,
Mm-hmm.
some story building, which I understand. Um, but I'm still enjoying it. Still looking forward to reading that next Bloodsworn book that's coming out here soon from John Gwen. Yeah, we haven't talked about Brandon Sanderson as a Kickstarter. That
Yeah,
happened
yeah.
since we had a podcast. I don't know
Hold
what
on,
it's
hold
at
on,
right
hold on.
now.
You gotta let me tell this story.
Yeah, go.
Yeah, look that up. Okay, so we talk about Brandon Sanderson quite a bit here, and I was just sitting at work and I get a text from Rich here, and he says, "Stop what you're doing and watch this." So I started to watch it, and okay, hold on. I'm gonna spoil this. If you're a Brandon Sanderson fan, please go watch this. Like, skip ahead 5 minutes. Go watch this. It's incredible. If you're a Brandon Sanderson fan, you probably already know what this is, but
Yeah, yeah. Go to his YouTube channel. There's a video called
telling the
"I've
truth
been
or
lying."
something.
I've been
Yeah,
lying to you.
yeah.
Go watch that.
So anyway, I watch about 4 minutes of it, and he's just like, "Hey, over this pandemic, I wrote a book," and like drops it on the desk, and I
Which is
was like,
insane
"Right,
because this is a guy that has a weekly show on YouTube and literally gives percentage updates on like the books he's writing,
mm-hmm,
right? And like in the last 2 years, he's written 7, 8 books.
mm-hmm, right,
I mean, actual books. He's a crazy person.
right."
And then he gets on this YouTube deal and he's like, "Hey, I wrote a surprise book," and then slaps this giant stack of paper on
Oh
the
yeah,
desk.
it's probably
He's
like
like,
a
"What
800
the man? I can
page book.
I mean,
It's
I,
nuts. It's nuts.
I can barely get up
So
and shave in the morning, and this
I
guy wrote an
know,
extra book, a whole extra book, and
I
still
know.
just
I'm
keeps
like,
on.
I'm like going to work, aka walking upstairs in my workout
Right.
clothes, and I'm like, I'm not turning my webcam on at all today because I look
Yeah.
like whatever. But anyway, so I pause it. My wife is not a Brandon Sanderson fan, but she knows who the guy is. So I'm like, hey, you need to. I sling it to the TV. I'm like, hey, you need to watch this. And so she starts watching it, and I get about 4 minutes into it again. He goes over to the whiteboard, and he's like, like, here's my breakdown, my travel, blah blah blah. And then he's like, and then I pause it again, and I'm like, isn't that crazy? And it's like a 16-minute video.
Yeah.
And she goes, yeah, that's kind of crazy. I was like, I don't know what the rest of this video is. And I look down at Discord, and you're just like, keep watching. So I'm like, okay, I hit play. So then he pulls out another book and slaps it on the table. And he's just like, look at this. I wrote another one. And at this point, he started to explain that he wrote one for his wife. It made my wife emotional. It was an emotional moment,
Yeah.
And he goes a little bit more into it. And then and then he's just like, but there's more.
Yeah.
And he pulls out 3 more books
Five books. Five
on
secret
top
books.
of everything that he's been writing. And
Yep.
the man has his life planned out until he is 75 years old. He's got the Cosmere universe like baked out. He has
Mm-hmm.
now introduced 4 more books into the Cosmere that are ready to go. They're done. They just need edited, I'm sure. And he presented this to his wife, and his wife was just like, you need to get this out there. Like, this is too good, and it's part of the world. Like, get it out there. Because he
Yep.
originally wrote it for him, or for her,
Yep.
and wrote a graphic novel for his kids, which he's got I think it's called Dark One or Dark Age graphic novel that's currently ongoing now.
Yeah.
So he basically explains in this video that they're starting a Kickstarter. It's going to launch in 2023, and every quarter you'll get one of those books.
Yep.
Sans the graphic novel. I think he's doing something different with the graphic novel.
Yeah, it's 4 books, so 4 quarters in a year. You're gonna get 1 book a quarter, and then he announces that there's gonna be like a buy up tier where you'll get a box of swag every month, which was kind of the buy up tier.
Right.
But still, 4 fucking extra books, and I'm just watching this. I'm watching this at work because I follow his YouTube channel because it's fascinating. Because he's an extremely like transparent and like kind of honest person about just his process and the way he does things, and it's very interesting, right? It's like watching the bread be made. I mean, it's interesting. And so I follow him, and I saw this video, and I'm just like sitting at my desk, like watching him pull out book after book after book, and knowing all the stuff that he's done, and just like I feel so just lazy. Like, what am I doing with my life that this guy can do? This guy is one of those few people, in the universe that has found the thing that he was put here to do. This is what he does. He had a great little math equation. He's like, Brandon plus time equals stories.
Yeah.
And that is the truth, because he is a machine. And I've seen some memes of like people doing like an across the desk interview of like George R.R. Martin and like Brandon Sanderson, and like the camera keeps panning back and forth between them, and George is like, oh, I wrote a couple sentences in Winds of Winter, and then Brandon just keeps adding books to the table every time the camera pans back to him, and George is like, it's too many books, Brandon.
Yeah.
What is it? And yeah, it's crazy. So this Kickstarter launches like immediately when this YouTube video goes live, and so I head there. It's like, oh, this is cool. They've got a goal of $1 million, right? And he's done a successful Kickstarter before, very successful Kickstarter. I don't remember what the heck it ended up at. We're like a week and a half into this, I think. This Kickstarter is at $27 million for a bunch of extra books that he wrote in his quote unquote free time. That's bananas. So he's publishing these books himself. He has the Dragonsteel book company that he does some stuff through. Does a lot of stuff through Tor also. But he's doing these soup to nuts. Like these books are written. They're all written. They obviously have to be edited. Like it's a ready to go kind of done deal here. And I've seen some news stories here in the past few days of like other authors kind of poo-pooing it a little bit.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like authors and publishers being like, "Oh, this is terrible for publishing because he's this big name and it's cutting out the little guy," And it's like, I think you guys are just a little bit butthurt a little bit because he's got this audience, and it's like he does a weekly YouTube. He does 3 or 4 YouTube videos a week. He has figured out like how to engage with his audience. If George R.R. Martin could stop playing fantasy football long enough to like engage with that huge giant audience that he has from the books and the shows. Like, could you imagine if he did the kind of things that Sanderson
Right.
does with just community engagement? I
Sanderson
mean,
is not a household name like George R. R. Martin.
no, absolutely not.
Even
No.
though he's pumped out like 7 times the amount of books.
Yes.
He's if you look on Goodreads and you look up like the top 20 fantasy novels, I mean, his are up there. But I could ask my parents, I could ask anyone on like in my family, who's George R. R. Martin? They may know him. They don't know Brandon Sanderson. Like, I don't
Yeah.
want to say Brandon Sanderson is a niche, but he's not a household name like
Yeah, they didn't pick George R. R. Martin to write
Elden Ring. No,
parts of Elden Ring. Yeah,
no, right,
they picked George R. R. Martin, which Brandon Sanderson was pissed about
right.
on his YouTube show.
And I mean, he's
Yeah, I
making
just
money off YouTube too. Like he's got it
dude,
figured out.
totally. Yeah, he releases all these special editions of his books. He's got
Yeah,
seems like he's got a really great like internal team that at Dragonsteel that kind of produces this stuff. I mean,
I just couldn't. I mean,
he's kind of gotten ahead of it a little bit.
the lore
know.
that he's building up. Like, you have to have a team of people that understand that, because you can't just hand that to, like just the backstory and stuff that like people need to be able to cross check. And it's like, oh well, you
Yeah.
said Kaladin here has a ring on his thumb, and he technically wears it on his index finger. He's just like, oh fuck yeah, you're right. Like he needs
Right, yeah.
he needs a team to do that, but 27 million.
27 million
I still haven't bought it yet. I'm going to.
for a
But
bunch of books and a bunch of boxes of tchotchkes.
see, I don't give a shit about the swag stuff. I'll get the ebook and the audiobook, but I don't.
Yeah, I went with the hard books. I went kind of middle tier. I didn't
Yeah.
go the full year, the year of Sanderson.
No.
I almost did, but I didn't do it. It reminds me. It was I could not stop thinking about that Family Guy episode when Peter gets the thing in the mail and he goes to the timeshare place or whatever, and they're like, all right, you can either have this boat or this mystery box. And he's like, I will take the box. It could be a boat. And it's like, there could be anything in those boxes. We don't know what's going to be in these boxes every month. There could be another book.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
We don't even know. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I was just like, there could be some cool shit in those boxes. And then when those boxes come out, there's going to be cool shit in there, and I'm going to want it, and I'm not going to be able to have it. And I'm going to be mad.
You don't collect anything though, do you? Do you collect? Is this something I don't know about you?
No, I don't. But I want to. Like I've kind of like I've got this desk here, which you can't like see what's happening because of green screen technology. But I have this big basement, and I have like all this space. And like I used to be a collector. Like I used to collect like I'd get like books and like fucking like race cars, like cool like race car stuff, pictures and all this stuff. And I'm trying to, like, as a middle-aged dad in suburban America, trying to like carve out like a corner
Sure.
of like my house that I can like put some nerdy shit in. You know, it's either you got to put nerdy shit in there, or you got to like be brewing craft beer. It's just part of the deal.
Yeah.
You got to do one or the other, right? So I'm going the nerdy route. So like I've already decided, like, once these books come, like I want to start buying books again, and like some books that I like books that I like have a bookshelf, nothing like fucking Bruce Wayne library ladder style, but like have some nice little, you know, tchotchkes, little things around. I don't know. I used to do that as a kid. Like I collected a lot of stuff. Like I like to have things, like little things and little stuff around on shelves and stuff. And then when you move and you get kids and like you're like a bachelor and you kind of have some of that stuff, and you get married and she's just like, fuck all that. That doesn't.
Right.
It's not flowing in my Joanna Gaines world over here. It's just shiplap and fucking white furniture everywhere.
Yeah.
So I've kind of peeled out my own area down here that I'm gonna try to maybe reconfigure a little bit. So I'm not a collector, but I would like. There's gonna be shit in those boxes that I'm gonna want, and I'm gonna be mad, and that's okay
Mhm.
because I'll figure it out.
Right.
But yeah, not to totally derail the podcast with Sanderson here, but that was a pretty big development in
It was. Yeah,
your and I's world
I can't
for
believe I
about
didn't
2
put that on
days.
the show notes. I meant to because I figured we would talk about it, but
Yeah, yeah,
okay.
pretty big deal. It got picked up everywhere, so he's getting some pretty good
Yeah.
publicity for that thing, which is good. He deserves it, man.
Right.
The guy's a workaholic.
Yep.
Man, yeah,
And I don't love all of his books. Um,
right. Yeah.
Actually, his popular stuff, I prefer his little trilogies. I
Mm.
couldn't get into Mistborn. I fell off of Stormlight Archives. It makes me want to try again. But there's so many other good books that I would rather read right now. So,
Yep.
Okay. Anything else?
Nope. Let's burn through this news.
I
Talk
think,
about Batman.
yeah, I think the only thing that I haven't talked about is I'm still reading Kings of the Wild, which I think is just a fantastic D&D style story, but it's funny. It's a humorous book. And I think I explained the premise of it on the last episode, so we don't have to get into this. Let's get into the news. So we played a little Fallout 76. I think we mostly enjoyed our time with it.
Yeah.
They have 5 years of planned content for this game.
They're going the Destiny route.
Does that interest you to get you back into that world at all?
I don't think so. I think I struggle with coming into those games like midstream.
Yeah.
Like when we played, even when we played Destiny 2 or 3 years ago, I mean, Destiny 2, we came into it and it's like, yeah, just here's all this armor. You got to get up to this light level so you can
Right.
play this shit. But just go. And then go do the thing. And like, it just, it's got to be a really hard thing to like tutorialize for like your hardcore people that are there for all of it, and then your people in the middle, and then your people coming new to it. Which Fallout probably has more of that than Destiny even.
Right.
But there's a game there for people definitely to enjoy. I don't have the time to sink into those things.
Right.
Like I just don't have it. Elden Ring is like on the edge of being too complicated for
Yes.
me to kind of push forward in.
I will say I was listening to, not to go back to Elden Ring, but I was listening to a podcast today where this guy who plays video games for a living is 100 hours into it and still can't beat several bosses, story bosses. And I could see myself getting to a point to where I'm like, nah, I'm good. Like, I'm really enjoying it. But if it just is hard to be hard and it's a level of grinding that I don't feel like doing, I could see myself just falling right off of it. I tried getting into Elder Scrolls Online and I still find that game interesting, but it's one of those you throw yourself into it. And the more you get into it, the more you get out of it, but it takes time. I tried Final Fantasy 14. I tried Fallout 76. Those are all good. They're great games. They're all really good, but they take a dedication. Okay, let me take that back. They're all good games. It takes a dedication for them to be great games, and I don't have that time.
There's just a lot of systems and a lot of currencies and like stuff happening, and then like Fallout 76 is kind of a like multiplayer game almost.
Right.
So you have all these other people running around that know what's going on and you don't. It's like instanced almost. There's like all building mechanics. It's better than it's definitely better than when it launched, and if you like that world, then the Fallout world. I would rather play a more mainline Fallout game. If I'm
Sure.
going to spend my time, playing something Fallout related, I'd rather go back and play Fallout 4 or whatever the new one's going to be. If they ever make another one, I'm sure they will.
Yeah.
I just don't think it's for me.
Mm-hmm.
Same with Elder Scrolls. I love Elder Scrolls. I don't want to play Elder Scrolls online. I
Right.
just don't.
I mean, it is just an Elder Scrolls game, which is the crazy thing
Mm.
about it. You can go in first person, you can play it in third person. But yeah, I think that's where I'm at with it. It's like, do I want to spend 200 hours in this world, or would I rather play 15 other games? And I think I just would rather keep leaning towards.
Yeah.
I'd
Yeah.
rather
How many
play.
death's doors do you miss
Right.
fucking around in West Virginia?
Yeah. So we talked about a bunch of video game TV stuff on our last podcast. They're talking about making a God of War show. This is Amazon. I'm gonna pull this story up here. And they've got some stuff listed out that I think we may have even missed a couple of these. Dungeons and Dragons, Halo got picked up for a second season. Cuphead show's already out. Earthworm Jim, no idea why. And then Near Automata will probably be an anime. But yeah, God of War is getting picked up through Amazon Studios, which, I didn't care for The Wheel of Time. I am a little skeptical on the Lord of the Rings show. I think the trailer looked bad. Um, I want to watch it and I hope it's good, but I did not care for that trailer at all. So we'll see. I do like Miss Maisel. I think that show's great, but that's way different than them trying to adapt a lore based thing, such as this. So yeah, and there's Sony Santa Monica is definitely pushing a lot of their content to the screen because they've got the Last of Us show, with the Mandalorian star. Yeah, they're investing heavily in that. Um, I don't have many thoughts of this. I just thought it was interesting. It's kind of like a continuation from our talk from the last episode.
Yeah, I kind of fell off God of War, so it could be cool as a TV show. I mean,
Yeah,
I don't know.
but like
There's a lot of room for that to go wrong.
right, yeah.
So
Um,
Dave Bautista as Kratos.
yeah. Who would be a good Kratos? There was a tease that The Rock was
Oh boy.
that he was going to be in some sort of live action show, video game, and he never said what it was. I don't know if well, I mean, yeah, I could probably see him pulling it off, but Dave Bautista, yeah, Bautista would be a good one. God, who else? Who else could be Kratos?
Dave Bautista and Tom Holland as the boy.
Tom Holland. What's the boy's name? Atreus.
Atreus. Yeah. Yeah. Yep.
Um. Well, speaking of other Sony news, I think Forspoken is Sony, right?
Yeah.
So it's supposed to come out this May. It's getting pushed 5 months. 5 months, yes, to October. The dev says that they want to focus all of their efforts on polishing the game. Now, this is coming off of some news that hit the past couple weeks that Guardians of the Galaxy did not meet up to Square Enix's expectations. And they've said that a lot with Western developed games. They said it with Hitman. They said it with, gosh, what else have they published? Pretty much the Tomb Raider.
Yep.
And
Anything.
so anything that is Western made, it seems like. So yeah, seems like Forspoken wants to take some extra time to make sure that they get this right. And go ahead. It's fine. We've got plenty to play right now. Um, may want to get out of the way out of some of the stuff. So,
Right.
um,
Yeah.
and then there's a little news article that I think is interesting. That keyboard and mouse controls is coming to XCloud,
Hmm.
or whatever that service is, soon. Um, I know I like XCloud. I actually use it on my computer from time to time, and the fact that I can't use keyboard and mouse does kind of suck. So it's cool that they're going to be adding that. That is it for the news. I know they had the state of play.
Yeah, I didn't pay attention to what happened there. So it's like
Well,
some Square Enix stuff.
well, I mean,
It
we
happened
don't.
today, and I had a busy ass day.
Oh, I didn't know
Let's
there was a
see.
2009 film called State of Play that Russell Crowe, Ben Affleck, and Rachel McAdams. Oh,
Really?
all right. Here we go. Here's GameSpot's the biggest announcements. Exo Primal. I see a some sort of robot looking thing there. Ghostwire Tokyo. Forspoken got pushed. Returnal Ascension, which I guess is a co-op add-on for
Uh,
Returnal.
right.
JoJo's Bizarre All-Star Battle R. That's a no idea.
Fighting game.
Yes. JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, is that the anime that's based off of, I think?
You're asking the wrong guy.
JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Yeah. Yep. Yes. Oh, there. Right there's the title. Diofield Chronicle. I think that was the um tactics style looking game. And then Valkyrie Profile is getting a sequel, Valkyrie Elysium. That seems
So
like.
far, like 3 out of the 4 screenshots you showed me have had pretty people with really fancy armor in them, with like
Mm-hmm.
really good hair.
How far do you think we need to grind in Elden Ring before we get armor that looks like that?
Oh man,
Because I'm
all the
still
way.
wearing cloth. I do have a little cape that's pretty ragged, but I'm still wearing cloth. So
Yeah.
yeah, Rich, I have been thinking a lot of the Game Pass version of PlayStation, and like, oh, I think I would be day one. You know, I started then looking back at like, okay, what have I missed not having a PlayStation these past 2 years? And there's some big stuff that I would like to play, um, but I don't think it's worth a service.
I think unless they're going to go full on and release the new first party releases day one, like Xbox does with Halo, like
Mm-hmm.
day one, Halo's on there. Is God of War Ragnarok going to be on there day one? I don't see that happening,
No,
no matter what tiers they offer.
right?
So
Yeah.
I'm not a person that goes back and plays games that I've already played. You know,
I don't do it often. Um, no, I'm right there with you. I don't do it too often. I know I've been playing Final Fantasy, but that's been more nostalgia than
like I'm not going to
anything.
go back and play through the Uncharted games again,
Oh,
or you know, I don't know.
I want to play Miles Morales. I want to play Ratchet and Clank. Those are the two that I really feel
Mm,
like I'm missing. I don't
yeah,
see, I don't see those coming to PC. I know I wanted to play Final Fantasy VII, but it's on Epic. I may buy it when it comes out to Steam, but we'll see. Um, yeah, there's just I don't feel like I'm missing a lot, and that's not. I mean, I'm not trying to like shit on Sony. I've had every PlayStation until PlayStation 5. I just don't see enough on there yet to make me want to spend $400 or $500 on a service, and then $70 games on top of it.
right,
No
yeah,
thanks
yeah.
right now. Hey, here's the 2 week video game release calendar. I'm gonna kind of run through these and see if anything sticks out. There's a Dot Hack, Hotel Transylvania, WWE, GTA 5 is getting re-released, as well as GTA Online, and those are like super cheap. Those are like $10, $20 releases.
Wow.
Um, Tunic is March 16th. That's that fox-looking Legend of Zelda game.
Yep.
Dark Deity for the Switch. Persona 4 Arena Ultimax. I cannot keep up with that series at all. I swear I see Persona getting released. So many flavors of it. Look at that. There's a Star Tenders, a Quest, and a PSVR. That reminds me, there was a news article I seen today where the is it the Quest, which is Meta? Is that what it is?
Meta. Yeah.
It's there's a fitness game that's going to sync up with your Apple Watch, which that seems kind of cool.
Seems kind of meta.
Hey, there's a Final Fantasy game that's releasing in 8 days. Stranger of Paradise Final Fantasy Origins. That is a Team Ninja made game that plays like a little bit of Devil May Cry and a little bit of Souls.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll have to check that out. Rune Factory 5 The Ascent is coming to PlayStation consoles. Ghostwire Tokyo for PC, PS5. Kirby and the Forgotten Land, we talked about that a little bit earlier, 25th. And then Tiny Tina's Wonderlands. Yeah,
That's a Borderlands game.
I don't know anything about this though. What is this game?
I think it's just a Borderlands game.
It just like is it
with Tiny Tina in it?
Like you play as Tiny Tina?
I don't know.
Okay, there's a trailer here that's going to play in about 5 seconds. This screenshot here, we're looking at this game's radar article. Like it definitely looks like that. Oh, geez. Okay, I don't like when websites do this.
Oh, you mean all of them?
When you start to mouse off, and they're like, "Hold on, before you leave, sign up for our bullshit."
Give us your phone number. Yeah.
No. Yeah. Is this just a co-op? Enter a world of metal and magic.
Hey, that looks like Borderlands.
It does. And also guns. Lots of guns.
Hey, remember when Borderlands was fun? I don't know that. This is very vibrant.
Look at this. What is this?
Oh boy.
I know this is bad audio,
this is bad audio.
We're watching the trailer right now, and this is just something else. It's really
yeah, it's like a weird. You know what it looks like? Parts of this look like, hey guys, what if we made this more like Fortnite?
Oh, that's the fucking. Of course, as soon as you say that, he's playing an instrument.
Borderlands is a first-person game, and it is cutting to like third-person stuff. It's very colorful, which Borderlands is usually not. It looks like Fortnite, and I played about 20 minutes of Fortnite.
Man, I fell off so hard from Borderlands 3.
Mm-hmm.
I got maybe 7 or 8 hours into it, and I was just like, no.
It's a bad game. Bad game.
No, I'm good.
Yep.
All right. I think that
nothing I'm really interested in that list. Maybe Tunic. We'll see.
Yeah, let's keep our eye on Tunic and Stranger of Paradise. All right. Oh, good. Still got way more time for Elden Ring then. All right. Well, I think that's going to do it for us. I think we're going to spoil the heck out of some Batman here. So if you don't want to stick around for that, thank you all for listening. And we will be back in a couple weeks. But if you want to stick around.